A lot of time in political discourse, you hear people talk about extremists and moderates. Personally, I hate talking about extremists and moderates, because I think once you start talking about extremists and moderates, you're kind of playing a game at that point. You're saying that, you're basically agreeing that what the majority opinion is relevant. You know that fallacy that says, the ad populum fallacy? It's almost like that fallacy doesn't even exist, because you've already bought into the idea that what most people think is really important. So personally, I refuse to classify myself as a moderate or an extremist, no matter what the context is. I don't consider myself to be a moderate MRA or an extreme MRA, because the way I look at it, moderates need extremists and extremists need moderates. You really can't have one without the other. And I think the best way to explain what I mean is to give you an example. I've been on YouTube for a very long time, since early 2007. And in that time, I've witnessed a lot of changes on YouTube. I'll just mention that I remember the time when the biggest MRA / anti-feminist on YouTube was a guy named Argus Eyes. He hasn't been around. He hasn't been active for at least 3 years. But he used to be the big MRA. Chapin's been around a long time. This was before, Man Woman With came out with his videos. Before Girl White Sweat made it big. Before A Voice for Men became a website. And as I was saying though, there's been a lot of changes at YouTube. I remember a time when we didn't have likes and dislikes on videos. And there used to be a rating system where you had to pick, you had to rate a video out of, on a scale of 1 to 5. You could choose 5 stars to 1 star, or anything in between. And my point is about extremism, because really I was an extremist when it came to that system. Because I never really rated videos. I would just give them a 5 stars or a 1 star. If I liked the video, I'd give it 5 stars, because that would give it the biggest boost in ratings. If I thought the rating was too high, I'd give it 1 star to have the maximum effect. So that's what extremism is, in my opinion. Extremism is just exaggerating your position because you want to influence other people, because you want to affect the average opinion. So you make an extreme case, a really one-sided, really biased judgment, hoping that you'll pull other people along with you. And so you're depending on other people being moderates and trying to sort of, look around at the other opinions and try to be in the middle. So those people who are trying to be in the middle will be more influenced by your opinion if you exaggerate it. So really, if there was no such thing as moderates, then you couldn't have extremists either. So if there wasn't anybody trying to be mediocre or average, or trying to have a safe opinion, then there'd be no incentive for people to exaggerate their opinions. There'd be no point in doing it. The only reason I was rating every video either 5 stars or 0 stars is because I actually thought that the average rating meant something and it was important. And I thought it would influence people's opinion. As it turns out, YouTube went ahead and got rid of that option. And I guess there was a lot of other people abusing the system as well. So they decided, all that matters is either you like it or you don't. Thumbs up, thumbs down. And they stuck with that. When it comes to my real opinions, I don't do either. I don't try to be average or moderate. I don't try to exaggerate to influence people. I just say exactly what I think. So I don't think I could possibly be classified as a moderate or an extremist. And another thing I really don't like is labels. Usually I label myself as an MRA, because I think it fits pretty well. Or an anti-feminist. Although sometimes I call myself a feminist, because really all that matters is whatever the person thinks who's asking, or who I'm talking to. Whatever they think that means. My goal is to be as not misleading as possible, to try and represent myself as accurately as possible. So even though in general I'll call myself an MRA, I'm perfectly comfortable calling myself a feminist, because for a lot of people, being a feminist just means you support women's rights, or you support equality, or that you think that women should be strong and independent. I know what the politically dominant feminist philosophy is, and it has nothing to do with that. But most people really don't know that. And there are a lot of people who really don't have anything against men, they don't hate men, but they still call themselves feminists, because they believe some of the nonsense. Or, that's what feminism means to them. But really it's just the ideas that matter to me, not the labels. The labels are a total non sequitur, most of the time. I would rather argue about and discuss real issues than whether feminists are bad or MRAs are good or, whatever. All the people who call themselves MRAs and all the people who call themselves feminists have chosen that label for themselves. It's not attacking a group of people to attack a label. And really, my only goal is just to change people's minds about, a few things. Basically, I just want to contradict a few aspects of feminist ideology that are very misleading. And, some very powerful ideas that are very misleading. And when someone says, I don't believe X, Y, or Z, I tend to believe them. I have no reason not to believe them. Unless they've proven otherwise. A lot of people have some sort of cognitive dissonance and inconsistent beliefs, and a lot of people are somewhat hypocritical. And I don't really necessarily hold that against them. And there are very specific aspects of feminism that I want to challenge. Very simple ideas that I want to contradict. Which, if you've seen my videos, you would know what those are already. I really think that most people get really distracted by this social game of who's friends with who, which group do I belong to, and straw-manning their opposition. There's so much straw-manning, not just from feminists, but from MRAs as well. And it really seriously, it's totally unnecessary. Because most of the people who are arguing are not even really involved in the politics. And the people who are involved in the politics, they're doers, not talkers. They don't really give a crap about the debates. They're going to keep profiting from their lies and their fraud. And the only question for us is how to disempower them. Anyway, I'm going to be at the next few events in Toronto. And I expect to encounter a few feminists. And I'm hoping to have a real dialogue with them. And I'm hoping the dialogue will have absolutely nothing to do with labels or groups or straw man arguments. I'm hoping the dialogue will just be about real ideas, worldviews, values, facts, that kind of thing. Real political positions. I'm one of those men's rights activists who really wishes there was no need for a men's rights movement. I want this movement to be destroyed as soon as possible. I want us to run out of things to do. I want our goals to be accomplished, hopefully within the next 5 years. And I actually don't think that's impossible. I want us to have nothing to do except become watchdogs, basically. I want all this misandry and sexism and bullshit to be over with. And I am very optimistic. So yeah, as I was saying at the beginning, All moderates do is they empower extremists. That's it. They give extremists reason to exist, they reward them, and they give them power. So if you really hate extremists, you should hate moderates also. It's only logical.
Just say what you mean. Mean what you say. You don't need to be a little trickster. Just be honest with people. That's all. Just be honest. Put out your viewpoints. But a lot of these fellows that have gone to that website are true believers. They want to be a part of something. They want to be included. They get you away from actually responding to ideas and positions, things that people say, and they put you in the realm of make-believe, where you can have all your straw men you can jump on. But this is a small little person with no power. In front of you are politicians, lobbies, organizations actively changing this country for the worse. And you focus on this. That's sad, man. That's really sad. You should be taking on the issues of the day and not making up issues.